When I was a kid, I would spend hours upon hours hogging the family computer, creating all these Word documents that were filled with these images and pictures that I had found while scouring the internet. And the purpose of said Word documents, man, this is really dating me, oh well, was essentially to create vision boards, even though I had no idea what a vision board was. And I remember creating one for each facet of these visions that I had for the life that I wanted, and was very detail oriented about it. I wasn't thinking small with these. I have always been a go big or go home person, whether for good or bad. I am jury's still out on that one, but that's okay. I remember having a Word document just dedicated to the clothes that I wanted for my future children, or the house that I wanted to build one day, or the career that I wanted to have. So clearly, very lofty visions. But I've always, looking back, have been this incredibly visionary, highly creative individual. And I've always been very attuned to what it is that I am here uniquely to create. And this has honestly been one of the biggest gifts of my life. This capacity in me has been not only a compass, but an anchor and a consistent source of hope. But where things got squirrely with this is when the world came rushing in, right? I'm sure you can relate. I learned programming that taught me that to make these visions happen, to get what I want essentially, I needed to contort myself and cram myself into all these boxes to do so. And I can actually tell you the exact moment that this pattern took root in me. Up until 8th grade, I was doing very poorly in school. I'm talking straight F's and D's. Due to an undiagnosed case of the neurospices and feeling just different and isolated for other reasons beyond my control, I really didn't have the tools or resources I needed to succeed, and just generally went unnoticed. But something really remarkable shifted that first day of 8th grade. I had this very sobering moment where my vision for my future came crashing in, and I had this crystal clear grip on it. And also this realization of how far away I was from it at that moment in time. And I, as per usual, was not just thinking about what was immediately ahead of me, like high school, although of course I wanted to be in AP and honors classes, but I was thinking of my college and career in that moment as well. I wanted to get into prestigious universities and have all these opportunities so that I could have the career that I wanted. And ultimately, of course, that ties back into my value for education, which has always been important to me. So at the same time that I had that come to Jesus moment with my vision, that pattern was taking root to me. I vividly remember thinking to myself, oh, I need to start to learn how to play the game that everybody else around me seems to know how to play. But I didn't get the rule book for that. I really drew the short stick on that one. And I learned how to play it well. I learned how to play this game well. I began attuning to what was going on around me. I was looking for what the most successful students were doing that I wasn't doing. And I began observing what made my teachers happiest, each one of them individually, and how could I give that to them? How could I perform? And I was incredibly successful in this endeavor. I went from straight F's and D's to straight A's in under a year on my own. And not only that, I was 0.01 grade points away from graduating as valedictorian of my 8th grade class. So I don't say any of this to further perpetuate hustle culture or traditional definitions of success. I think those are horseshit, to be blatant. especially depending on the intentions behind them. But what I am trying to get across with this little anecdote is this pattern that has lived in me for a long time. And that's, just to reiterate, having this vision for what I'm uniquely here to create and feeling as though I need to cram myself into this box or play by the rules of somebody else's game to achieve it. And admittedly, this pattern is something that I continued to run for a painfully, painfully long time. If you had asked me even a year ago what my career goals were, I would have given you all the raw ingredients for the pseudo studio. I would have told you, oh, I want to teach, specifically designers, and even at that point in time, I was defining that as somebody who has a vision and wants to make it happen. And I would have told you I want to start with them, so their unique values, intentions, passions, talents, etc. And I would have even told you that I wanted to keep a design practice for myself, but I didn't want to box myself into just designing the built environment for the rest of my life. I have long been very excited about essentially the design process. If you think about architects, we are the master manifestors. We are constantly taking vision and turning it into something tangible, like a whole ass building. And we're doing it at scale. We're not just thinking about aesthetics and how the floor meets the wall, although that is certainly a part of it, but we're also thinking about the structure of the building. And to scale it out even further, we're thinking about how does this building we're designing not only impact the current community and environment it's in, but also for generations to come. And we do all of that through the design process that we're trained in, which supports us. And I've always been so incredibly excited about applying that design process to any vision, not just buildings, because ultimately we're rapidly approaching a time when buildings are not the solution. But that is a different soapbox for a different day. We won't even touch that. So the vision was already there, completely intact. Where the difference between now and then lies is that I was still trying to channel that vision and creative energy through pre-existing pathways. So in the same breath, I would have told you, oh, so I need to get my Master of Architecture so that I can then graduate, so that I can then apply for this firm and get my license so that I can then start my studio. And oh, well, maybe I need to get my PhD so that I can then teach at the collegiate level. I'm like really resisting the urge to eye roll at my past self right now. Lovingly, of course, don't worry. What I needed all along was a third way. And I've been able to make that happen for myself. I've been able to hold my own vision without diluting it or contorting myself to make it happen. And how I've done that is through applying my design process, the design process I've been trained in, and my skills from that to my visions. And you would have think that I would have thought of that sooner. But through this process, I've been able to design many a third way in many different aspects of my life for myself. And one of which you're able to interact with readily right now as the pseudo studio. That is one of my third ways. And the most beautiful part, to me at least, of this rather painful odyssey through the School of Hard Knocks is that I'm now able to share these skills that allowed me to design and structure and actualize my third ways to you and your vision. So if any of this resonates, I am taking on new clients right now, and I would be truly honored to help you design your third way as well. So if you're looking for a link to my services, it's in the bio. I look forward to seeing you.